You know, here's the thing. I'm concerned that now that this election's over, that it's just going to be business as usual. I still have FOIA requests that I made back in October that have not been complied with. What do? I could sue the city again. I'd rather just get the information I requested, but because the election's over, and because the clerk won, and because I lost, I guess she thinks that she doesn't have to respond to all of my requests. She has responded to some. It's been the usual thing, upside down files and jibber jabber and back and forth and trying multiple times to get just a couple of documents and getting multiple pages of stuff that I didn't ask for. This is just right back to normal. You know, here's the other thing. I went through and made a very concise email calling out multiple points of a very important issue. And this is something that is related to what the auditors found, and they called the city out on it, and it has to be rectified. And we don't know exactly what that means. We don't know if money has to be returned. We don't know if there's going to be a criminal charge for the things. And so I'm usually very thorough in the things that I do. And so I wrote a 900 plus word email structured point by point of why I thought that actions need to be taken in a certain way. I sent this to the aldermen. Not one of them replied. So we're right back to the way it was in November 2017. But I don't walk away from things like this. A 900-word email to my aldermen, and they ignored me. You know, I'm far from being stupid. I'm not out to get anyone. I'm not angry, and I'm not a cranky old man. So by the alderman not answering me, it was just rude, unprofessional, and unfortunately a sign of things to come. Now, I've said this before. The Ozark City Council is not the law of the land. They're not the final authority. I gave them an opportunity to respond to a situation that demands their attention, to respond in-house, to take care of this thing from within. But since they rudely chose to ignore me, then I'll contact the people that will have authority over this, and we will get to the bottom of it. They're skirting on legal issues. They're skirting on criminal issues. And I'm not going to walk away. And if they won't answer me, then they'll answer to somebody. And they need to answer to you. The citizens of this town need to stand up and hold these people accountable. We have pretty much a restructured city council. There's new people on board. And they ignored my email. This wasn't some psychotic rambling. This wasn't some axe to grind. This was a very pointed, specific, point-by-point document that if they weren't going to reply to it, they should have just said, received, thank you, whatever. I got nothing. That's where we are again. People of Ozark, I'm just afraid that it's business as usual. The only bright point in this is I do believe that Ms. Hall will do something. I do believe that Mr. Patterson will do something. But once again, if there's only one voice, the group that is your leadership in Ozark can collectively silence me. They can collectively discredit me. Don't ever forget that the Spectator is connected to the City Council in a way that I've never seen anything as dishonest in my life as some of the things they run in that newspaper. They completely whitewashed the findings of the legislative audit. It's not going to surprise me if criminal charges come out of this. On the same note, it wouldn't surprise me if criminal charges don't. This town needs a transparent government, and people need to be held accountable, and we need your voice. You have to get involved. This town is in a do or die situation in the next few years, and I'll talk about that in another video. All of my life, I assumed that being truthful was an admirable thing. Being honest was something that people had respect for. I also assumed that people wanted to hear the truth. And what I found out is that that's not the case. People don't want to hear the truth. People don't like the truth. People are selective, I should say, about the kind of truth that they want to hear. I spent a year just pretty much feeling alone in the world because in my mind, following this trail of dishonesty and trying to get to the truth was a meaningful endeavor. It's the only reason I was doing it. Again, I wanted to do something meaningful with the last years of my life. This fell in place for me, and I pursued it because I thought that the truth was meaningful. If you want to see something interesting, there's a documentary that was on ESPN not too long ago about a young man who accused a basketball coach of choking him. You probably remember the story. Bobby Knight, Indiana. All this kid did was say that it happened, and he got death threats. It was the truth. And he was maligned and vilified and driven away. His life was completely turned upside down because people didn't want to hear this. And had there not been a video taken of the incident, there's no telling what would have become of him. But he was finally proven to be right. My point of bringing that up is that you can look at all things that have happened throughout history, and the reality is that people react in all kinds of ways to the truth, and it's not always positive. I've thought a lot about all of this. Would I do it again? Well, of course I would, because it never was about anything other than doing something meaningful. And I still believe in my heart that doing something that seeks the truth is a meaningful endeavor. There's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people that got angry at me. There's a lot of people that said things about me having never even laid eyes on me, having never interacted with me in any capacity, found a way to hate me. And why was that? Because I said something that they did not like. It was the truth. But sometimes the truth is painful. The truth is hurtful. I've experienced it myself. We all have. But how you treat people in life matters. And none of us are going to set the world on fire or be remembered for anything great. Very few people are ever remembered very long after they're dead. And so it comes down to what your life means to you. And the only thing that you can do that will be memorable is to interact with other people in a positive way. I tell my kids, speak the truth, do good things. You know, it's a pretty good rule to follow. And you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get maligned. You're going to get hated when you speak the truth. But it's the right thing to do. It's the only way to have a meaningful life. Anyway, that's why I got involved with this. Anyway, that's it for this one, but don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we've got lots more to talk about. Some of the things that's going to come up is what's happening with the special prosecutor. This is a pretty involved story, and I guess for the next video I'll tell you how that came about, why there's a special prosecutor here in Ozark looking at the city's records and some of the things that have happened over the last, well, really decade here in city government. We're going to go over things here that you're not going to get anywhere else. I promise you, you're not going to get the facts by reading any story in The Spectator. They have repeatedly kept anything negative from appearing in the paper. They have misquoted me and they have misdirected you from the truth. It doesn't matter what happens at City Hall, you're not going to get the full story from The Spectator. If you want to hear the truth, you need to subscribe to this channel, and I will update with videos over the next few months. This is going to be an interesting process, and there's a lot to talk about. And you know, one of the things that I can say is I have backstory information that you're not going to hear anywhere else. So thanks for watching, and a new video coming soon. Thank you.